welcome to the Top 5 News, where the world gets 5 minutes better every weekday. I'm Joe Pelayo, Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Today we're riding the rockets of resilience and the robots and countdowns. Let's begin. Story number 5 today, I'm counting down from 5 to 1, Philadelphia. November 12th, the United States minted its very last circulating penny in history. Treasury Brandon Beach personally struck the final 1 cent coin at the Philadelphia Mint, ending a 232-year run that had started way back with the Coinage Act of 1792. Acting Mint Director Kristie McNally called it the end of an era, but promised the penny's legacy lives on, as it costs a whopping 3.69 cents to make each one. From pennies to heaven to take a penny, leave a penny, America's favorite copper is now officially retired from circulation. Time to raid those penny jars one last time. Story number 4, 77-year-old Wanjiku wa Githu hero quietly planted her 40,000th mangrove along Kenya's Indian Ocean coast yesterday, shattering the women's world record. Mama Mita, as they call her, started planting trees there in 1998 after a drought took her farm. Now her forest now shields villages from floods and feeds and bees and employs 200 local women and a seedling nursery. The Guinness Book showed up with the certificate, and she showed up with a shovel, and she's still going. Story number 3, the U.S. and India are inches away from inking a massive new trade deal that could supercharge both economies. President Trump says we're pretty close to a fair agreement, and tariffs are getting slashed at some point soon. Negotiations led by Ambassador Sergio Gore. First phase of the pact wraps up on year-end markets, lowering barriers and tightening up supply chains. The big goal doubling from $191 billion to a whopping $500 billion in trade by 2030, as reported by the Fed. This is billions in growth and jobs and a cheaper way to goods that we would get. Handshake heard around the world. Story number 2 today, 5'8" humanoid robot Neo just became the first bot guest on the New York Times Hard Fork podcast, teleoperated from Oslo. It shook hands, it poured water without spilling, it folded laundry, and it gave the hosts Kevin Rose and Casey Newton actual hugs that felt weirdly human and weirdly real. Pre-orders open at midnight at $499 a month, or $20,000 to buy a robot outright. 47,000 signed up and crashed the site in 4 hours. The future just walked in, ladies and gentlemen, hugged us, and it took out the trash. The CEO, Bernd Bornich, predicts 10% of homes will have a robot by 2027 at the earliest and 2029 at the latest. Will you be one of the lucky top 10 percenters? Story 1 today, Semper Fi, forever. The United States Marine Corps just turned a legendary 250 years old on November 10th, born in a Philadelphia tavern back in 1775. It's still the few, the proud, the unstoppable Marines. President Trump proclaimed the day a national tribute, hailing the Marines as a ruthless battle machine and a lethal guardians of liberty. Philly threw the best party. The birthday bash included returning to the ballroom for the 100th annual birthday ball, complete with cake cutting and a Medal of Honor. Heroes were celebrated and block parties went on, parades and fireworks and the like. From Nassau raids to modern battlefields, they won our nation's fights for 2.5 centuries. Hoorah to every devil dog, past, present, and future. The corps just keep leveling up. That's your top 5 news for today, November 12th. Pennies retiring with dignity. Mama Mita breaking records in India. Trade deal about to boom. Robots ready to come in and fold your laundry in the Marines. 250 years stronger than ever. The good hit news keeps rolling. I'm Joe Pelayo. Stay tuned in. We'll see you here tomorrow for another 5 minutes of news. Good news. And nothing to give you the blues here on the Top 5 News. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.